Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadike Sharanyatrambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Gunatita Vaksharam Brahma Bhagavan Purushottamaha Jano Janannidam Satyam Muchyate Bhava Bandhanat. Om Shri Swami Narayana Namaha. Om Shri Aksharaya Namaha. Om Parabrahmane Namaha. Om Brahmane Namaha. Om Shri Lakshmi Narayana Namaha. Om Shri Nar Narayana Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Narayana Namaha. Om Shri Vasudev Narayana Namaha. Om Shri Badri Narayana Namaha. Om Shri Satya Narayana Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya 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 Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Dhyanamulam Guror Murti Mantramulam Guror Vakyam Pujamulam Guror Padam Mokshamulam Guror Krupa. Om. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 7th of January 2023. Would like to offer my Danvat Pranam to all the great beings and sages in the past, present and the future, and to the one and supreme Parabrahma Paramatma who exists in the Hridaya Akash of every human being, of every being, exists everywhere. That one supreme Paramatma that exists everywhere, that is beyond Akshara Brahma. With that prarthana, we are continuing our exploration of Sri Vivek Chudamani and trying to carefully, slowly, taking our time to really open up the basic ideas and concepts that are discussed in this extraordinary scripture that is Vivek Chudamani. I do want to mention a couple of things here in terms of connection with other scriptures. You know, this Vivek Chudamani of Adi Jagat Guru Shankaracharya Ji is a foundational scripture for the whole Sanatana Dharma. Why is that? Because it actually set the stage for the development of Vedanta historically. If Shankaracharya Ji wasn't there, Ramanujacharya Ji would not be there. You know, Ramanujacharya Vedanta is a further development of Shankaracharya Ji's Vedanta in reality. People say there are different. Yes, there are differences, but they're not really differences. They are further developments in understanding the tattva itself of Paramatma. So it's not contradictory as some people think. And because of Ramanujacharya's Vedanta, Swami Sajananji Maharaj, who is known as Sri Swaminarayan Bhagwan, he has taken that even further. So in the Swaminarayan spirituality lectures that are presented, that is discussed there in English, and we have created about 14 or 15 parts of that so far. So that is a much more advanced subject, even more advanced than Vivek Chudamani. Vivek Chudamani is super advanced as it is, but Ramanuj Vedanta is even much more further developed. And Sajanand Swami Ji ka jo perspective hai, it is even more elaborate, further elaboration on the Ramanujacharya's Vedanta it's called Brahma Vishishta Advait. We have not gone to, those are very top level points and ideas. Slowly, we will be able to understand that also. It's not a simple thing, you know, it is it seems very complicated in one sense, but I think if we go systematically, we can make sure that the fundamentals are clear. You know, obviously, you cannot study calculus unless you have mastered algebra and geometry and basic math and all that. It's like that. It's not contradictory. Geometry doesn't contradict algebra. Trigonometry doesn't contradict, but one is a further development based on the other. The subject is only one, that is mathematics. Similarly, the subject here is Brahma Vidya. It is the Vidya, it is the realization of the Atma and Paramatma. In simple language, it's called Brahma Vidya kehte hain. Just as a reminder, if for those of you who are taking notes or keeping track of all of this, the Prastantraya, this word here, Prastantraya means what? It is a combination of 3 scriptures. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses. Vyasa Sutra, which is Brahma Sutra written by Ved Vyasji, that is 555 sutras. That is the second Shastra. And the third are the 11 principal Upanishads. We can even say the entire Upanishadic literature. 108 Upanishad, out of that 11 principal Upanishads, Shvetashveda Upanishad, Isha Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, so many are there. Kena Upanishad. Those Upanishads are the third component. So Prastantraya means Brahma Sutra, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and the 11 principal Upanishads. It is on those three that all the Acharyas have given their Vedantic perspective. So Shankaracharya ji's Bhashya on the Gita is there. Shankaracharya ji's Bhashya is there on the Upanishads and the Brahma Sutras. The Vivek Chudamani is a special scripture that really pulls it all together in this Guru Shishya Samvad, where Shankaracharya ji has, by the grace of Bhagwan Shankar, really has given this oneness of the Atma and the Brahman, how to get into that state in a most straightforward, systematized manner. That is Vivek Chudamani. So, because if you were to study actually the Brahma Sutras and all, this is very itna high level ka subject hai wo. You know, this first Brahma Sutra, Athato Brahma Jignasa, Ramanujacharya has written 500 pages of commentary on that first sutra. Not to mention all the other sutras and not to mention all the other commentary. If we were to go through that, we would need, million lifetimes, and we would still not be able to go through it. So that is why the Acharyas knew that, because they were all forms of God, basically. So they made easier for the public. So Shankaracharya ji distilled the whole Brahma Vidya, that is from his realization, into Vivek Chudamani. Ramanujacharya then gave his commentary called Shri Bhasya. And then from there, if you go, there are many other acharyas also, but then in Vachanamrut, Sajanand Swami Maharaj, what he did, I'm just giving just a quick background, then we'll continue from where we were. But what he did was that he took Ramanujacharya as the base. In Shikshapatri, Maharaj said, this is our Tattva, the Tattva Gnan is a perspective. He is not contradicting Shankaracharya ji. He's incorporated Shankaracharya ji's teachings also inside the whole Vachanamrita. It's a synthesis. And at the same time, what he did was to provide a further perspective on Ramanujacharya's three Bhedas. This is called Jeev, Ishwar, Maya. We have not even discussed that much, right? We are just trying to understand what is the Atma only. And that itself is so huge. Then what is the Ishvara and all that? Those things are, it's a little bit further ahead. What Maharaj did, he took it a bit further. And opened up what is called Panch Bhed. Jeev, Ishwar, Maya, Akshara Brahm, Parabrahm. Isko Panch Bhed kehte hai. And on this Panch Bhed, in the recent times, within the last maybe 10 years or so, something like that, in the BAPS organization, there is a Bhadresh Swami. You can look it up, actually, it's on the online. And he has written a whole commentary. He's written another Bhashya, just like how this perspective of Vedanta that big acharyas have written. He has given that Swaminarayan Bhashya on the Panch Bhed, and this Jeev, Ishwar, Maya, Brahm, Parabrahm, based on the scriptures. ये सब बहुत आगे की तत्व ज्ञान की बात है. The reason I'm mentioning this today, I want to emphasize the importance of every word in this Shastras. Bhagavad Gita is every word. Brahma Sutras, every word. Shankaracharya ji's every word. Vachanamrut mein every word. इसमें परम 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 दिव्यता है. इसका meaning, and these commentaries are written, yes, based on buddhi, but they're also written based on anubhav. They're also written based on certain experience and realization. They're not written just as a philosophy. This is why the Vedas themselves, Veda and Upanishad, is all considered apaurushaya, not created by a human being. So the point here is that when we are studying these ideas about the Anthakarna, about the Chitta, about the mind, there is so much realization behind that. Rishis have not spoken without realization. That is why हमारे जो the shastras, they are called darshan shastra. Shat darshan. Darshan means what? What does the word darshan mean? Darshan is a vision into the tattva itself, into the reality. That is, what is the mind actually? To see its nature. What is the body? What is the mind? What is the power inside? What is the Brahma Tattva? What is the Brahman? They have seen all of these tattvas. It is not philosophical speculation. Philosophical speculation is just using your intellect to try to imagine what is there, to argue one way or the other. No, that is not the Sanatana Dharma. It is not philosophical speculation. It is Anubhav. It is Anubhav Vani. Even Maharaj in Vachanamrut, he mentioned beautifully. He said that amari pratyaksh detail baat hai. In Gujarati, at that time, that Gujarati means what? I'm speaking from what I'm seeing. What I'm experiencing, I'm speaking. I'm speaking from my state. We need to get to that point. All of us who are doing sadhana, trying to contemplate, we want to evolve into that state where revelation of the tattvas occurs in our life. And to do that, to get to that point, is what we are trying to understand in terms of this Anthakarna. The Anthakarna that we have been examining very, very carefully, this Anthakarna is the whole game. The Anthakarna is where the bondages occur. And this is the vortex of Maya. In verse number 65 of Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya ji is talking about discovering this tremendous treasure. That svikrutim nikshepaha samapekshate nahi bahihi shabdehi. What he's saying there is that you are having a great treasure. It's not a physical treasure. It is ananda. That is who you are. But what is preventing us from realizing that you are that ananda? You are Satchidananda. The problems, disturbances, agitations, and the confusion inside this Anthakarna is the only problem. There is no other problem. If this problem is solved, then you are completely out of Maya. As soon as this problem of the Anthakarana is solved, the Anthakarana is very, very pure and stable, and the light of the Atma shines. How does it shine? In verse number 65, what did Shankaracharya ji say? He says, Brahmavid Upadesha Manana Dhyana Dibhihi. The Upadesha, we're listening to the Upadesha from the scriptures. Sachin is just putting it together in a certain way to present it. ये सब उनकी बात है. Sachin की कोई original बात नहीं है इसमें. This is all coming from all the great saints and sages and everybody else. That is called Updesh. Bhagavad Gita में जो सब वाक्य है, when Sri Krishna is talking to Arjuna, that is Updesh. When Shankaracharya ji is speaking here in the Vivek Chudamani, that is called Updesh. Bhagwan Swaminarayan, when he is talking in Vachanamrut, इसको क्या कहते हैं? Updesh. When great saints today, who are present today, who are speaking from Anubhav, whoever they may be, wherever they may be, great beings, they're speaking from Anubhav. And that is true not only in spiritual realization, it is true in every aspect of life. Right? It is true in every area. When somebody is speaking out of realization, that is called Updesh. Then what Shankaracharya ji is saying is par manan karna. We have been examining, for example, this ahankar, buddhi, manas, chitta, last 4 or 5 days. Whatever Sachin has presented is for Sachin to realize. And we can keep talking about it. It's very profound. But what is Shankaracharya ji saying? It is not simply an intellectual analysis. Shankaracharya ji is insisting, he's asking us to do manana. Iska manan kijiye. But many times we do shravan, we listen to so many things. इस पे मनन नहीं होता. Manan is the next stage. Manan, dhyan. So actually he went from manan to dhyan in verse 65, but there are two more stages in between. There is manan, nididhyasana, and chintana. Chintana means cross connection of your own understanding. So whatever we have presented in these daily satsangs, other teachers have presented, hamara chintan kitna hai? The more chintan, manan chintan, what does it mean? Manan chintan, it occurs in the mind, first of all. As far as the Anthakarna is concerned, it occurs in the mind, in this manas. It occurs all four actually, but the buddhi and the manas are particularly involved in manan chintan. So manan chintan ka kya baat hai? How does it work? Let's give an example. So for example, we say that we want to see one good quality in everybody. Even person might have 99.999 negative qualities. Find something good and hold on to that. Let's say we try to do that, right? We heard this idea. Where did this idea come from? This idea is there from ancient times, from the Vedas. This is not something new. It's wo ek sanatan satya hai. Find good things from other people. From everybody. If you can find something good from every being, everybody, one will realize, one will develop within oneself great spiritual power. Even someone like, even somebody who we cannot think of something even positive. You can take something negative and turn it into positive. I'll give you an example. Guru Dattatreya. Guru Dattatreya, he once was he traveling in his travels and all. He had that vision to turn even something binding into something positive. You see? So for example, you can see how much energy there is in anger. Krodh mein kitni shakti hai? So how do you turn that into positive thing? You say, oh, the person who is krodhi has so much focus through ahankar in that way. If I have that kind of, take that negative thing and the bhakta, the mumukshu, turns it around and says, oh, see the intensity there. That kind of intensity I want to have towards Bhagwan. So now what happens? You see something outside there that is binding, negative, problematic, harmful. You see that, no problem. But we do not internalize that person's negative action inside our mind. We don't bring that and hold that inside the mind. We are aware of it. We don't solidify it inside. We turn it around. We turn it around and say, I want to use my energy in that way, that same power to connect with Bhagwan, to do good things in a completely new light. This is sadhana. Ye antakaran ki sadhana hai, which most people probably have not done in that way. When we see somebody doing something negative outside, something harmful outside, yes, it is harmful, it is negative, no doubt. See, in the Swaminarayan Satsang, I'm giving some of these as a reference, and I'd like to make sure that these are just understood as references. I'm not trying to promote or criticize anybody. There's a lot of controversy in this whole world about, if you give a reference to about anybody in this world right now, 10 other people will say, why are you giving that? You're trying to promote this. No, Sachin is not trying to promote or criticize anybody. I'm just giving as a reference. Then you do what you want with that. The fact is that there are many, many great sages who have done this, and they are, I'm going to give you as a reference, in the BAPS organization, in the Parampara, Swaminarayan Parampara, there was a Yogiji Maharaj, and you can look him up, you can see his pictures and all that. And so many other saints are like that too, Raman Maharishi or Mahan Sant ho gaye. We can also reach that stage. If we want to become like, we want to realize that we can reach that. The reason that saint, that Yogiji Maharaj, as an example, why people were so attracted to him, if you look at all of the qualities, the one thing, if you look at the Jivan Charitra, if you look at all of this, the life, even if you look at Ramakrishna Paramans, you look at Raman Maharishi, we look at the Paramahanses of Maharaj, Why people are attracted to them. Even the life of Jesus. What is the reason? Because they never internalized anybody's fault inside. It's a master key. It's a master key that opens every door. Are there problems in the world? Yes. Are there gun, avgun, all kinds of mess going on in the world? Yes. Of course there is. But our Anthakarna does not need to bring those things inside. And this is our sadhana. So in the case of Yogiji Maharaj, because I'm familiar with some of the prasangs and all that, a lot of difficulty he had gone through. A lot of criticisms, lots of problems, so many things. He never took negative thing about anybody. He never brought that inside of himself. That's how he became that great saint. He realized the Brahmananda. He realized the Atma Tattva. And he's living in that higher consciousness all the time. If you see his pictures, you can see he's in that Brahmananda. If you see Raman Maharishi's pictures, you can see just by the face, actually, that they're living in a different dimension. Because they don't internalize anything negative, even it may be very negative, it may be harmful, they're aware of that. They don't bring it inside them, ever. That is their viveka. And that's what Shankaracharya ji is talking about when he is saying Upadesha Manana Dhyanadibhihi. It is the science of remaining free. It is the internal science of remaining free. Other organizations have talked about this also. So many, like the Art of Living organization is there, AOL, there's Chinmay Mission is there. Today, there are so many, then there is the Ramakrishna Mission. There are so many in North India, South India, throughout the world. Thousands of sanstha's and organizations are there. In Swaminarayan Sampradaya, there are so many. There are almost like 70, 80 plus different organizations. They keep growing and expanding. Fine, no problem. It's all beautiful, different flowers in the garden. The point is, if we want to realize the Atma, that who am I? I am not the confusion and the pollution of the Anthakarna. I'm using the word pollution because Shankaracharya ji is using the word amalam. Amalam, malas are impurities. If Sachin starts to think negative about somebody, my own mind is bringing that impurity, and it is blocking. It is called an avaran. It is blocking the realization of the Atma. Why? What good will come out of that? Nothing good comes out of it. Now, somebody might ask the question in practical life, wait a minute. We have to live with people and all kinds of situations come up. Deal with them. It is called Vyavarika Drishti. Remember this, let me see if I can find that. There's a particular diagram here. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. There are 3 stages in that. I actually finally was able to create these diagrams to kind of pull these ideas together. Here it is. Yes, here it is. So let's take a look at this. This is a very, very relevant and important thing to understand. In our daily life, we are living in this Vyavarika Satya. At the bottom here. I hope you can see that. Let me see if I can put the laser pointer. This Vyavarika Satya means what? When we see that there is an interaction with other people, there is a duality in this, the empirical reality. Meaning what? Somebody has become angry outside. Somebody has done something harmful outside. Not only that, for example, we have a bank account, Sachin has a bank account, you have a bank account, somebody else. You cannot say that let's just open up all that thing, open up your house and everything, and just everything is one and live that way in this world. You cannot live in this world that way. It will not work. You have to put a lock on your door, isn't it so? Somebody says, no, everything is Brahman, sarvam khali vidam Brahma, Paramatma sab jagah hai. Why I should lock the door? I can go into anybody's house. Some houses are mine. Like the Bible says, I have not houses. I have not house. I have houses. I can go anywhere. If you do that, you'll be arrested very quickly. That's all. That's only Satya that will come. Not Brahma Vidya or any such thing will happen. So in Vedanta, Vyavarika Satya, we have to recognize that it exists. This is why, this is interesting. Why Bhagwan Swaminarayan accepted Ramanujacharya's Vishishtadvaita because of this reason also. Because this world, many people say, sab Brahma hai, sab illusion hai, ye hai, wo hai. Isme se, in the wrong way, if you understand, isme se vikruti hoti hai. All kinds of problems happen. All kinds of wrong understanding can come out of that. So no, even in Advaita Vedanta, these three things are talked about again and again. Vyavarika Satya, Shrishti Drishtivad. And that is the more philosophical thing. I will talk about that later sometime, what that means. But Vyavarika Satya means we're living in the transactional, interactional world. In the Vyavhar. Yes, we are. But here's the point. To be able to see this sansar from a higher vision, that it is a flux, it is temporary, it is coming and going, it is nitya anitya. Shankaracharya uses the expression nitya anitya. And in Vedaras, Sajanand Swami Maharaj has used that expression also. He says nitya nitya vastu viveka. What is nitya? What is anitya? Nitya kya hai? Nitya means existing all the time. What is it that is existing all the time? That is this Paramarthika Satya. That is existing all the time. Paramarthika Satya, which is beyond Prakriti. The Atma is in that sense liberated from Prakriti. That is the Brahman. Akshara Brahman. Beyond Prakriti. That is Paramarthika Satya. So, we recognize that the Paramarthika Satya is with me. And it is by holding the Paramarthika Satya, one interacts with the world with realization that the world is temporary and all. That is Pratibhashika Satya. So Pratibhashika Satya is this realization of the transitoriness of the world. That is Nitya Anitya. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka in Vedaras. And through that realization and understanding and holding that inside, one is acting in the Vyavhar. One is continuing the activity in the material world. That is Vyavarika Satya. Once we know how to do that, that is the art of living a liberated life. That's what Bhagavan Sri Krishna is teaching Arjuna in the Gita. He's saying to Arjuna, you do your duty, karmanye vadikaras. You have to fight the war, you have to do all this thing, but you have to do it with the adhyatmic realization that I'm giving you. Bhagavan kehte unko. That is the Paramarthika Satya. And with that realization, what happens in our life? We are active in the sansar, doing our duties. We're doing everything that anybody else might do. We're eating food, we have families, we have friends, circles, we have so many things going on. That is Vyavhar, with love and affection. But that is performed without the Anthakarna getting polluted. We don't want to function in the world in a way where the Anthakarna, the Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar, the four things we have been looking at, these things become polluted, damaged, destroyed, hurt, harmful. No, we want the inner instrument, the Anthakarna, to be very, very powerful, solidified with pure energy, and we don't want pollution and trash inside that Anthakarna. This is the connection that we're looking at in our actual life. In our actual life, we recognize the fact that we are living in the Vyavarika Satya. We don't have everybody has to. You have to attend birthday parties, and you have to meet with family members, and you have to do everything. Sab karna. But without, right, the point we're making today at least is without bringing inside the Anthakarna the deficiencies, false problems of the world in general, of other people. Don't bring it inside. Like right now, these wars are going on, and you can see all the missiles are being fired, and so many things are going on throughout the world, right? We recognize it, don't bring it inside. Antakaran mein iska manan chintan. See, Anthakarna, let's go back to that again. The Anthakarna is a special gift given in the human body by Bhagavan. That is what Shankaracharya ji also said. Durlabham trayameveta devanugrahetukam manushyatvam mumukshutvam. The Anthakarna is a special gift. It is a gift because it is a doorway into the Atma. It is a doorway into the Paramatma that is inside the Atma. So it is our responsibility to use this gift in the best possible way and not to damage that gift, not to damage the ahankar, buddhi, manas or chitta. Use them in a way that is going to build that doorway into the Atma. That doorway into the Atma Tattva is where all four interconnect and are purified. That means Shuddha Sattva. They're purified. And not only that, they are going from purity to divinity. From Shuddhata to Divyata. Iska transition. That is a transition from Vishuddhi Chakra to Agnya Chakra. Vedras में भी ये बात लिखी है महाराज ने. And I'll find the exact quotation later on about the Agnya Chakra. We have not started talking about Agnya Chakra yet. Shriji Maharaj has talked about Agnya Chakra, what it is actually. And other sages have also, but in Vedas इसमें इतना clear लिखा है, इतना powerful statement है वो. You know, that it encompasses that state of Dvandatita, beyond the dualities. It is where Jagrat, Swapna, Shushupti, Sthul, Sukshma, Karan, Sattva, Raj, Tam, everything, you transcend that. All these slides I've created are leading up to that one statement in Vedas. We will talk about it later on. But the point is simply that the Anthakarna is a very, very sensitive and highly absorbed. It has a capacity to absorb and get colored immediately. Because why is that? Because the chitta, that which we call the chitta, has this capacity to get bound. In Vachanamrut Maharaj कहते चित्त ने चोटवानो स्वभाव. It will get attached to whatever you attach it to. Immediately, it'll take pictures of everything. Camera, super camera. So the awareness of the Anthakarana is a massive development in the history of Sanatana Dharma. The point only today we are making in a general sense, awareness, janpanu, jagruti. What am I putting inside? Particularly if we want to evolve the evolution of the Anthakarana into that divinity, the most important thing we have to be aware of is not to bring inside the Anthakarana the negative and harmful activity that is going on in the sansar. You are aware of it. There is some memory of that. Do not do too much manan chintan of that. This mind does manan chintan, buddhi and mind do manan chintan, and the ahankar then identifies with it, and then one gets bound inside that mud. Particularly finding faults of others. There are faults, there are problems everybody has. Shriji Maharaj in Vachanamrut, Garada Pratham number 6, Viveki Avivekinu Vachanamrut. He has emphasized again and again and again, see your deficiency. That's a big thing. Sachin is speaking right now. Why Sachin is speaking? For who? For Sachin only. And Sachin doesn't have any right to see anybody else's fault. You know, I have to see where's my deficiency. And if I can see my deficiency 100%, that is a tremendous krupa. ये बड़ी कृपा है, बहुत बड़ी कृपा है. Oh, I'm now interested in improving myself, seeing how I can evolve. But how can I even know my deficiency unless I can recognize my deficiency? And I can recognize my deficiency by stopping the influx, internalizing the disturbances, life problems, difficulties of others inside. That is called Divya Drishti. That will eventually take us to divinity, into Divya Buddhi. You see, all four of these, this Ahankar, Buddhi, Manas and Chitta, they become Divya. Have you ever heard of this, that the Ahankar becomes Divya? Divya Ahankar, Ahankar bhi Divya ban jata hai? Sure. That is what Vedanta is saying. Aham Brahmasmi. Nijatmanam Brahmarupam. Iska meaning kya hai? Ahankar has become divine. Has become Divya. Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. Bhagavad Gita. The Buddhi turns into Buddhi Yoga and that becomes Divya. The mind becomes Divya. Mind becomes Divya because it is infused with all saintly qualities. And the Chitta becomes Divya because the Bhakta recognizes that the memory structure is not me. The memory structure is there. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga Sutra. For second is Yoga Sutra. There are 196 or sometimes they say 200 Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. That is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So this Anthakarna is the thing to focus on. Completely. And here is where, let's just say one more thing, then we'll continue on that tomorrow. That this is where the Murti Pratishtha occurs. Bhagwan ki Murti ki Pratishtha isme hoti hai, in this Anthakarna. Hum mandir mein karte hai. The external Murti is there, yes, absolutely. External satsang, mandir, santo, sab kuch hai. Bring it inside. That science of bringing inside is what Shankaracharya ji is talking about. Maya Karya Rohitam. Maya Karya Rohitam means that which is that which is hidden under Maya. Because once the Maya is removed from the Anthakarna, that the effects of Maya, what is hidden underneath the Maya, what is hidden inside the Anthakarna, it's inside the Anthakarna, more sukshma than the Anthakarna. That is the Atma Tattva, that is Swam Amalam Tattvam. Swam, that's who you are. I am this Tattva, not this confusion of the Anthakarna, not all this mixture. It's a big, massive transition, folks. Shri Gunatitananda Swami, unke jo talks hai, Swamini Vato, he says, Anthakarando kajyo bo bhare che. He used the word kajyo, meaning all the fights going on inside. It's a mixture of contradiction. In the modern language we say, contradictory thoughts and emotions and feelings. Internal contradiction. Gunatitananda Swami called that kajyo. Anthakarando kajyo. Using the village language from that time. But the meaning is the same. And it's a very clear meaning also. Sukshma deha no kajyo. That's what he actually says. Sukshma deha no kajyo. Bo bhare che. Bhare meaning there's so much blockage. Bhare means in Gujarati means it is like so. There's a lot of intensity behind that. There's a lot of weight of that. It's not a physical weight. And why do people suffer? Because of the problems of the Anthakarna. Folks, there is no other real reason. If you really probe into this, this is the biggest and the singular problem in all of humanity. And that is what Adi Shankaracharya ji and the entire Sanatana Dharma and Vachanamrut and Swamini Vato and even in the Bible and even in the Guru Granth Sahib and all the different poets, saints, and everybody has talked about this in some form or another. And even as Sachin is speaking, the only person Sachin has to keep attention on is me. Because I can talk about this. We can talk about these slides for another 100 years. So what? That doesn't mean anything by itself. How much is Sachin really realizing this, actually, genuinely, honestly, honest with oneself and with Bhagavan? That is Adhyatma. There's no third person in that. And all the gurus are in that. When we are nishkapat, see, this is called in satsang, we say, nishkapat bhave vartu bhagwan and sant ke saath. Nishkapat means what? You don't keep any barrier inside. Oh Lord, hey Prabhu, this is how I can see, by your krupa, I can see my deficiencies. You please bless me. And then we de-identify. Identify with what? Nijatmanam Brahmarupam. Identify with sadhuta. Identify with clarity. Identify with the Atma. And when we identify with that, kiske saath rag dvesh rakhenge? We recognize the sansar as it is. We work in the sansar, live in the sansar, but the sansar doesn't live in us. We live in the sansar, but sansar does not live in us. What lives inside the Anthakarna? Bhagwan ka swarup, Paramatma. When that happens, you are an एकांतिक भक्ता. ऐसी अलौकिक बात है और ये सब शास्त्रों का सार है इसमें. Shri Hari, let us continue tomorrow on